Real African stories and real African experiences. This is the Legally Clueless video series. And in this episode, Anchie shares her story of being a woman in the entertainment industry and going from being a road manager to a Tanzanian superstar to being a full-on artist manager to 2 Kenyan superstars.
I started off as a Montessori teacher. That was my first career. Then I got into entertainment through a company called Black Star Entertainment, where I did events. I helped with events. I was quite young at that time. And then went back to the Montessori after I got my son because I couldn't be in entertainment with a young baby. While I was doing administration at Montessori, on the side I used to blog. I started also vlogging a little bit. And now that led me into this, the world of the internets. And Vanessa Mdee, who was already in music, was interested in having someone who would run her website and her social media and, just help her with it. And so I started to do that. And then she asked me to be her road manager. So the first time I was her road manager was at a Chris Brown show, which was in Mombasa. And it was hectic. I think she called me maybe 2 or 3 days before she went to the show. I didn't know what to prepare for. I was just preparing, maybe just did my hair and whatnot. But I had no idea what to expect. But she said she would help me walk through it. And she was also coming with her hairstylist and her sister. So I had some sort of support. And then the Chris Brown show happened and we landed in Mombasa and everything was just chaos from there. We had no hotel room, no pickup from the airport. There was just nothing, like nothing had been planned for. And yet those 2 days before I'd been sent an email of the hotel we are staying at, the phone number of who's gonna pick us up from the airport, blah, blah. Nobody's picking their phone at this time. There's this weird thing in the entertainment industry where local, and I'll call Vanessa Mdee a local artist because she's from East Africa, local artists are not given as much respect as the international ones. So the minute there's Chris Brown coming to Mombasa, once they know they've booked you and Vanessa Mdee is going to be coming, they kind of don't care after that, So they pay half of it before you get on the flight. But after that, there's nobody cares about you, where you're going to sleep, where you're going to eat, blah, 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 your team, it doesn't matter. Luckily, I'm from Kenya and my phone works here. At least I have some M-Pesa and whatnot. And so we were able to, get to out of the airport. We found a van that took us out of the airport and then we don't know where we are going. So we drove to my aunt's house. And out of the fact that I was working at Black Star before, I knew a few people in the industry and I made some calls and there's this one friend who really assisted us. He found us a hotel room. He was not part of the organizers, but he had some sort of influence. Please note, I'm saying he had some sort of influence. Women in the industry are not given that much respect. I don't know how in 2 hours he was able to lock down a room for us, get us transport to move us around because the venue of the event was not at the hotel where we were staying. It was actually quite a distance. And yeah, he really did come through for us. So before any artist goes on stage, there's always something called soundcheck, meaning you go and familiarize yourself with the stage, the size of the stage. Your dancers also know exactly where they're supposed to be standing. And, you just do a run through of how the show is going to be. Now, we were told soundcheck would be at, I think, let me give a random time, say 10 a.m. And at 10 a.m., you will be picked up from your hotel to go to soundcheck. No pickup. Vanessa Mdee has an issue with her eyes. So there's always this thing of she needs to know how far she could go at the stage before she falls over. And, just small things like that, how if the sound is good, to make sure the DJs and the sound guys have the right music and, how the songs will flow. I'll be playing this song and then etc. So we are not picked up. We get an Uber. Again, this is at our own expense. And please note, we are moving around maybe 6 people. So it is a small cost, but eventually it ends up being, something bigger than And so we got to the venue, and when we get there, Chris Brown was doing his sound check. So we are not even allowed to move. There's no COVID that time, okay? So we are not even allowed to come near him or near his anyone. Like, you guys go over there. We are like nothing at that time, you know? So, okay, we take it. We sit there maybe like 2 hours. He had already finished his stuff. Another male artist came and we were completely disregarded, and he came because he was like, I need to do this and leave, blah, blah, blah. And by then we also had that attitude, like, we need to do this and go back and get ready. This is a girl, she used to do her hair, her makeup, blah, blah, blah. So this other guy comes, does his thing, finishes, and we get on stage. And as soon as Vanessa gets onto the stage, we are told, leave, leave, leave. We have to, we're like, she hasn't done her sound check yet. And it's disregarded. Like, you guys need to get off now. Okay, cool. We just see how far she can go. We didn't hear a single song on her sound check. We didn't know if they have the right music. Like, we're just like, okay, you know what? It's fine. So leave that, go back to the hotel. Now there's a driver, but not enough for all of us. So Vanessa and her sister get in one car. The rest of us take tuk-tuks. There's nothing wrong with a tuk-tuk. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that the difference in treatment between male and females in the industry is loud, very loud, okay? So being the first road managing experience, I cried. I cried behind the scenes a lot. Felt very powerless in a situation where I should be empowered, you know. I saw firsthand the discrimination of women in the industry, and it was a tough. It's like being thrown in the deep end. So I think to an extent it was good. I don't know if good is the word. It was needed. I needed to see how it would be at home, and then now when I look back, I see like, okay, that was just the intro to the bullshit that was coming after. Yeah. So yeah, that was my first experience as a road manager, as a female road manager, as a female in the industry, and it was crazy. I then started to do international trips, you know, where we'd go further outside of Kenya, outside of East Africa. So Vanessa was selected to be cast in MTV Sugar. So we stayed in South Africa for about 1 month. And while we were there, aside from, because we wouldn't be on set every day all the time, there were times maybe we'd go 2-3 days without her having to be on set. And we thought that maybe that's a good time to promote the music, you know, do some club appearances. So when you do a club appearance, you appear. Your presence is the present. So you appear at the club and they pay you for it. They sort out your drinks or food and your transport from your hotel to the club and back. And so we did a couple of those. Now, in South Africa, a lot of the people who run entertainment, especially in the club scene, are Nigerian. And some can be, well, let me talk about my personal experience. Most of the ones we met are very aggressive. Of course, there was the good people, but there are some very aggressive people. And I remember this one time, after the club appearance, it is normal for there to be an after party where the artists or whichever artists were there go back to either a hotel or somebody's house and like you continue the party there. Because at the club, you're working, you know, you have to look the part, you can't like get too messed up. So this is a space where, you know, you can let loose a little bit. You've already kind of acquainted with the people who are running the show. So there's a friendship and a networking that's kind of going on. Now we are talking of maybe like 3 a.m., 3 in the morning. And so we were at this house and Vanessa went into the washroom and I think I went into the kitchen or something. I was standing up to go somewhere and one of the guys kind of like came at me and pinned me on the wall, you know, like, and wanting something, like, you know, like, I don't even know how to say it, like, you know, when you feel when you're made to feel completely powerless, or like you owe somebody something. This is the guy who has done the booking for us. I've been communicating with him for over a week, making plans on how she'll come and do the club appearance. And he even assisted me with more, like he got us a few interviews on radio. But then it almost feels like at that point, you're paying the price for him helping, or for him getting you, the hookups with the club appearance and whatnot, because you are paid money and you're promoting the music. So it's doing something for you. It's value add to me, to Vanessa mostly, but also to me, because it's my job to source for these things. Yeah, and he pinned me to the wall and like wants to kiss me or push me into a room and whatnot. And for me, that was very uncomfortable. It has never happened to me before, so I felt very vulnerable. And then I pushed him off. I'm a strong girl. And so I go to the gym. I don't know if it's good to the gym those days, but I'm strong. So I was able to like push him off, and like at this point he's very drunk, so insulting me like, I've gotten all these gigs for you and you can't even just be here for me. And I'm just like, this guy's crazy. So Vanessa comes out of the washroom and we're like, okay, I told her about it and I'm like, we need to leave. And we call an Uber because now they're not giving us the cars we want. Now he's angry, so I'm not getting my end. The plan was, okay, we'll go to the after party. There's a lot of other people at the house. It's not just us. And then after that, we would be dropped back at the hotel where we were staying. And Johannesburg is big, guys. So it was like across town. It's a distance. So we call for an Uber. And when as we are going downstairs, just outside, like it's kind of like a lobby area. And the Uber is right outside. And the guy does it again. And I'm there with Vanessa. At this point, it's just me and Vanessa. And he pins me back on the wall. And like, why don't you just stay? I've done all these things for you, blah, blah. Vanessa is a small girl, so we are now wondering who's going to help who here. Like it wasn't a nice feeling. It was very, I don't know, he made me feel like I owe him for getting Vanessa I'm not even the singer. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying Vanessa should have been the one to get it, but then, yeah, it felt some type of way. And that was the first time I felt, like, is it really worth it? What if I was alone, or I chose to go to this thing on my own, or, just so many things run through your mind at that time. And then you're like, okay, also he's drunk, so you start giving him excuses as well. And again, disempowering to women in the industry. So for me, that was horrible. Anyway, so another international experience where I felt disempowered was a trip. We went to Lagos. I've been to Lagos. Lagos is like a hot city when it comes to entertainment. So you're there frequently. South Africa, Nigeria is one of those where we were in and out for quite a bit. So we were called to Lagos for a show. Vanessa came from Tanzania to Nairobi and then went from Nairobi to Lagos together. And at the airport, we met Sauti Sol, and I was so happy to see them. Usually East Africans, we just like bond. We all speak Swahili, you come together at that time. So we left Nairobi and landed in Lagos. And as soon as we landed in Lagos, you could tell the difference in treatment between like us and Sauti Sol. Now, Vanessa's team was strongly filled with women. Road managers usually kind of spearhead. Once you're on the road, clearly, you spearhead the artist. Sauti Sol had, at that time, were being managed by Marek. So they were an all-men's team. We were all girls. The only male in our team was a photographer. So it was me, Vanessa, and her makeup artist, who's female, and hairstylist. So we land in Lagos. First of all, Lagos, the airport. Hey, it is a mess. It is wild. It's kind of like you've landed in Ukunda, but then there's like the number of people is like the number in Ethiopia. Okay. Ukunda is the airport in Diani, for those of you who don't know. It's small and local. Okay. Like there's no, once you pass immigration, everybody can be there. Okay. And Lagos is loud. Like people talk loud. It's just very overwhelming. That was my first time there. So we land and there's a lot of confusion because they know a lot of international acts are landing in the country. So there's a lot of like people holding names up, but there's also those like con men who are just trying to convince you that they can drop you anywhere you're going, but you don't know where you're going. It was a lot, right? So we get there and first, I think there was an issue with immigration for Vanessa because she wasn't coming from Kenya. I think Kenyans, we get our visa on arrival, and for her it wasn't the same. So I had to run and fix that quickly. And then at that point, I could already see the difference with like Marek. Now, Marek is white and Marek is a man, okay? That already in Africa is like you are on top of all of us, okay? He's probably even more important than Sauti Sol themselves at that point, okay? And I could see how things are he was literally sitting and things are being brought to him and being done for him. Me, on the other hand, first of all, it's hot, okay? There's no AC in that airport. I'm running around like a headless chicken. My artist is getting frustrated. We don't know how we are leaving because the phone number we've been given for the driver or whoever is supposed to pick us up is not working. There's no Wi-Fi in the airport. I don't have a SIM card for this country, so I'm just like running on madness, basically. That was my adrenaline at the time. I was just like, oh my God, I don't know. So Marek sees a bit of this frustration of mine and he came and he asked if I'm okay. And of course not. And so he kind of helped us. Now they're already a group of 4. So the car they have, I think they had like 2 cars that were assigned to them. Their drivers are already outside. Us guys are still just standing there like, we don't know how we are going. We don't know who we are meant to meet. The person we've been given is not there yet. Nobody had Vanessa's name up or mine, nothing like that. So we hop into their cars. We are all staying at the same hotel. At least we knew that. And so they got us to the hotel. And then when we get there, checking in is a problem. Sauti Sol got their rooms almost immediately. We went, had lunch. By the time lunch was over, and now you want to just go to your room and relax, and settle in before the crazy night starts. We still don't have rooms. Now, there's a hotel, it's called Echo Hotel. Echo Hotel is divided into 2. They have Echo Signature, which is which is posh. Like it's like it's like the upgraded version of this old Echo Hotel. Now, Echo Hotel, the normal one, the carpets smell. With all due respect to this hotel, I see what you've done with Echo Signature. It's great. But the old one, just take that shit out. So we are getting rooms in this other hotel. Now, I just have to keep saying, there is no problem with giving us certain accommodation. The problem comes in when you start to differentiate, like where you can see the difference. Us guys are being given this because we're not going to fight it, and the guys are being given this because they have this white manager, he's male. They know if they don't do it right, Sauti Sol will never come up. They really don't care about women, honestly. So it's fine. Anyway, we get our rooms in the other Echo, the lower Echo class. Check-in, we're given 1 room for the 3 of us, yet in our agreement, everyone was supposed to get their own room, and Vanessa given a higher, a better room. She's the star. The whole time we were in Lagos, we slept 3 people in 1 bed. We got, I don't even know what I think the photographer was sharing with someone we don't even know, like who we met at the lunch table. And he was just like, yeah, I actually have a room on my own. I think he was from, I don't know, I think Uganda or something. And it was just, so clear over how men just get the upper hand on a lot of things in the industry. At this point, I started getting, disheartened over being, you get tired, because also you start to feel like you're not doing your job right. You start to self-blame, like, okay, maybe I should have been more aggressive, maybe I should have done this. But then if there's a contract and we sign, then why are you guys not pulling your end of things, and expecting us still to perform and perform well? And they know that Vanessa will we hardly ever share the back end where, oh my God, this show was so shit and we were treated so badly. It's all about once she gets on stage, how does she look? Is she dancing well? Did she sing well? Did it sound right? Did it blah, blah? But all those things, like, we get to that point where once she gets on stage, we have to make sure she doesn't think about all that and just go and do your best, because this is where our money is coming from and this is the reason you'll be called for another show. So, it's just like, do I really have to be here? Is it made for us? Maybe this industry should just have men then, So those are like two examples of how you can be put down sexually and even non-sexually, but still about your sex, about being a woman in the industry. And those are just two examples, guys. The number of trips I've been on while working with Vanessa, I think it was like 3 or 4 years of a lot of travel. It was consistently the same thing, where there's no airport transfer. What we did now was we had to start going into our own pocket, because the artist gets frustrated and then she doesn't give her best. So we'd pre-plan before, okay, always have a plan B. If these guys don't show up, we already have our own transport. We already have our own, we have extra money if we need to book our own hotel or get an Airbnb or whatever. So, yeah, entertainment, women in entertainment are very strong, very, very strong. I don't think, sometimes you find that you don't last that long in the industry. But anyway, here I am now, still there, but it's fine. Vanessa in 2019 fell in love and moved, and she felt she needed a break from the industry, and I agree with it 100%. She actually has put up a YouTube video and spoke about how being female in the industry drained her completely. And it actually made me very emotional, because I hear her 100%. And these people who will never understand 100% of what she's saying, there are things she said that she maybe worded wrongly and were taken wrongly. Like she spoke about it being like a demonic industry and whatnot. But I see how it is. Like from my first example, it's just that I'm not in that mind frame to say it's demonic. But for men to assume that they have sexual power over you because you're a woman and because you're in the industry, they feel like, you're loose, or I don't know, like you'll easily give up sexual favors in return to have like a smoother stay or whatever. There's like so many assumptions, and she spoke about that a lot, and I felt it heavily. And I'm sure so many other women can feel that way, So anyway, so she took a step back from the entertainment industry. And being a mother, I had to, not even just being a mother, generally, I had to step up and find a new job. And I started to work with, funny enough, Sauti Sol and their label. I was very happy to be working from home though. And you can see the difference. I've felt the difference of working with male artists 100 times more. I'm heavily more empowered working with men. And I was telling my mom the other day that being a road manager or being in a management level at the label for all male artists gives you power. There's a way people are kind of scared of you, In the beginning, there's always stories. I had a lot of stories. I've slept with some of the Sauti Sol members. I have a relationship with Nviri, the storyteller. I've been with Ben Sol. Basically, I probably have slept with my whole office according to stories, which is so crazy, you know. And I mean, probably it could happen with another woman, but where I've been and where the way the industry has built me, I know that sexual favors get you nowhere. If anything, you are going to be disrespected heavily. So I know a lot of the power I've gotten, even in this country, as somebody in the entertainment industry, is through the fact that after you do your homework, you realize I have not been with these guys sexually. I did not get that job that way. So my role at Soul Generation was a bit more than what I used to do with Vanessa, because now I was there on a daily basis. So I was also running their bookings and aside from just being the artist manager. So that means I was working for more than one artist. It wasn't just like one, like when I was with Vanessa. Now there was Ben Sol and Viri under my wings, which was great. I really enjoyed working with them. Just to let you know, there is good people in the industry. I have never, ever had any issue working at Soul Generation, which is heavily male empowered. Well, there's a few things, you know, here and there which I could bypass. They are not as major, where, you know, maybe your opinion doesn't count, and sometimes maybe it's just a feeling like, you know, maybe some PTSD from behind, where I'm just like, maybe they don't like my opinion because I'm a woman, or the advice I'm being given is like being bypassed because I'm a woman. But generally, the feeling was very welcoming, very family-like, you know. And then last year, in 2021, during the COVID period, we started a reality show. That show empowered me a lot. I was like the only female in the business at that time, and there was so much respect given to me. And I could see it like even in my social media, where women are just coming in my DM and like, oh my God, you're doing so great, asking for advice, asking how they can be in the industry and whatever. My advice is all on this episode right here, okay? You have to be strong. You have to know that men are going to take advantage of you. They are going to try, and you do not have to give up anything for anyone, okay? You can still, as long as you're doing your work right and you're putting in your best foot forward, you do not have to give sexual favors, guys, to get forward. Please stop, because there are women who have agreed to take the sexual favors in return for whatever. You know, you'll get a gig here and there and there, and they'll tell you, most of the times it doesn't work. You're going to be completely disrespected, not just by that one person, but in the industry, because men are not shy of talking over who they've been with and why they were with that person. Yeah. So we did the Soul Family show, you know, which has been quite successful. People are loving it. Getting to learn a bit about the, you know, what happens behind the scenes with the artists and the type of work we do, because some people don't understand. When you say you're an artist manager, they know you just, you know, have fun all the time. You've seen the work. People have managed to see the work that goes behind it, which I really appreciate. But during the pandemic, a lot of entertainment was hit heavily. There are no shows, meaning the money coming in is less. So I decided to do something a little, you know, edgy. I've gone to DJ school. And I want to be, you know, we don't have many female DJs. We don't have many successful female DJs. I think with the younger generation now, I'm not that young. I'm grown. Yeah, I'm not old, I'm grown. And I really do want to get into DJing. And I mean, I've been in music. I spend a lot of time in the studio. I think I have a good ear for it. And so I decided to go to DJ school and dance school. Which is still keeping me in the industry. I don't feel like I want to go back to artist management. Now I need a manager. I think that's where I am now. And already I can feel the pressure of being a woman again in the industry, and now being at the forefront of it, because I remember sitting down with someone, a DJ, a very is prominent, the word, a good DJ, a well-known DJ. And he told me that I'm gonna need the backing of male DJs. Already, I was just like, why? For what reason? Is he going to be standing there with me, holding me from the back? Or like, what do you mean? He's like, no, for people to accept you. And already I can see this being a battle, but it's one that I'm ready to fight on, because I think it could spearhead a lot for female DJs. Let me not even say DJs, generally artists, coming into the industry, managers, artists, all of them, all of us together, as long as we are female, just to empower them and let you know that you actually don't need a man to hold your hand through something like this. We can actually do it on our own. Yeah, so that's where I am right now. Watch out for my DJ shows soon when they open outside, because now we're in our third wave. So, just kind of messed up my plans, but it's fine. I think we'll get there when we get there.
Thanks for watching this episode. Remember, you can catch new Legally Clueless video episodes every Friday and new audio episodes every Monday.